was thinking about the ban on logging that was done by the government, like the ban on, like utilization of the forest that we have. Now, a forest is a resource. The forest is regenerating, like it's a renewable resource. If we cut a tree, we plant another one and we have the tree back again. And I know activists are going to be on my neck. But then look at this. I advocate total preservation of the indigenous forest. There is no argument about that. Nobody should get into an indigenous forest to cut down trees. And this scenario that is here should not happen. But then we have, for example, the Kenya Forest Service. They do planted forest. We have acreage and acreage of planted trees. Say an example is eucalyptus, or we have pine, cypress. Now, we have planted a cypress, we have a plantation of cypress. My thought though. And we have, let's say we have several acreages of cypress that is planted by the Kenya Forest Service or whoever is in charge. And it takes 30 years for this cypress to be ready for markets. And say these cypress are already ready, because I'm sure there are plantations that were ready when the ban came in. So if it takes 30 years for a cypress tree to be ready for market, and the ban has been implemented, and now we are continuing with the ban, it means this cypress that was already mature and ready for harvesting and had reached its maximum monetary value is still standing. What happens when it's still standing? It starts to die. It starts to get holes inside it and falling. So the plantations that we are ready are losing value because the ban is there. So we have plantations that are ready for harvesting, but we cannot harvest them because of the ban that the government put in place. And so those plantations are monetary resources that are deteriorating every other day. And as a country, we are sinking in debt. We are sinking in poverty. Well, I know you're going to say planting trees is all right. But you know what happens? Let's say we have 30 acres of eucalyptus that is ready for harvesting. We harvest, and as we are harvesting, we have other bunches and other acreages of cypress that have been planted, and immediately we cut down this one, or immediately we harvest this block of cypress, we go back and plant it, because this now plantation will be harvested after 30 years. It is a cycle, it is a system. I know you're going to talk about climate change and carbon sinks and holding back, but then these plantations, you see, climate change, let's not just argue from climate change and stuff. Climate change and politics and economies is, let me tell you what is the environment, all these conservation and stuff. The environment represents the social aspects, represents the economic aspect, as well as the planet or the people. So let's not close our eyes on the economics of climate change or climate or environment. Let's not close our eyes from the aspect of people when it comes to matters or issues of environment. Let's not take that direction. Let's be real. We need to plant trees. That's all right. If you have gone through the latest report that we have from the Kenya Forest Service, that our plantation or our tree cover, forest cover has increased. I think we are at 12.3, I don't know, 12 point something. All right. Then I think what we need to do is now we need to start utilizing the monetary aspect of the forest is degrading. I am sure some people will agree with me that there are plantations that we have planted that are losing value. If that The mature trees are worth $1 billion. Every day they're deteriorating. Every day the value is deteriorating. And I think the government now needs to come up with smarter ways of curbing deforestation and stuff. I think we need to be more smart when it comes to approaching issues. And we cannot assume that we are a developing country. Look at countries like China. The Chinese government, or in China, they are putting up coal plants every other day. They have not met their goals when it comes to emissions. But what are they doing? They are developing. And as a country is developing, I know I'm a climate change activist. I encourage conservation and preservation and all these things. But then we need to develop. We need to get our people out of poverty, because if we don't have poverty, that is the only way we're going to fight climate change better. It is easier to fight climate change if we make everybody come from poverty, above the poverty line. And the only way we can be able to do that is through development, through industries, through such activities that are going to give people, or that are going to generate revenue. Let's stop being arrogant. Let's stop being ignorant of issues that needs priorities when it comes pretending to be fighting the climate. We need to develop so that we can be able to even fight climate change better. And if you have been following these environmental laws and regulation, very early in the 1960s, when all this thing was starting, we had a guy from India who said that poverty is the largest form of pollution, and I've been running with that mantra. Poverty is the largest form of pollution. We need to eradicate poverty. If we get people out of poverty, then I think we are going to be in a better position to fight climate change, or to adapt and mitigate impacts of climate change. So as much as we are advocating for conservation, as much as we are advocating for planting of trees and targets and stuff that we have set ourselves up for, competing with developed countries, competing with countries that are already in a better position. We are in Africa, we are not developed, we need to develop. So let's be smart. Let's make decisions that are smart. That triggers me, and this discussion came from a conversation I had with some friends of mine who are in the Department of Forest, who are talking about some billions of money being wasted in the forest in the name of conservation. That is not the way to go, according to me. Let's cut these trees, utilize the money to develop and plant more trees. I hope you're triggered, and if you are, do something, because I am.